All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Public Service Staff Meeting with the County Commissioners. We'll begin with a review from, I believe, Building and Planning, Facilities Maintenance, and then Public Works. Yep, that matches what we just got from Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you doing something first?
And Savannah, you're facilitating the meeting.
That's right.
Okay.
Good morning, commissioners and members of the public. Savannah Clement, Public Services. So we have an agenda today, and first up on our agenda is building and planning, a couple miscellaneous updates. I'm going to let Tracy Jackson explain.
Hello again, commissioners.
Hello.
Doesn't sound like it's on. So in front of you tomorrow, we've got some items on your public meeting, excuse me, agenda. One's a call for hearing for the Silver Lake Village. That's setting the hearing for March 28th at 10. The other one is a request for qualifications. The board gave us permission to go out for planning consulting services with geotechnical services and peer review for the geotechnical assessment. Those are due back to our office on March 30. And we also have on your motion items tomorrow, the agreement with our hearing examiner, Mark Scrimmeyer, for an additional 2 years. And then the total cost is up to $20,000 a year, but the applicants pay for those. So that was the one that we received two letters of interest. We went with our current hearing examiner. So those are on your agenda for tomorrow. Our senior planner started this morning, so we're excited to have Wayne Nelson up on board. He's getting up to speed with the other planners, but he should be able to hit the ground running and get through some of our planning applications. So I'm very excited that he's on board. We have a contract with Acela for the third party. It's called TruePoint. Our Acela is our permitting software. We are partnering with Environmental Health. They did not have a third party or a group in place either. So we are partnering with them, and they're utilizing some of our hours with the consultant. But everything that we have worked with them so far has just been top notch. I mean, instant responses, great fixes. They had some incredible suggestions that some of our stuff was patched behind the scenes that we didn't even know about, and they're able to see it, fix it, and streamline some processes. So even though we still have some hiccups to get through, I'm pleasantly surprised with this third-party group. So very, very nice to have them on board. RFQ planning.
So Tracy, I want to go back a
Yes.
little bit to the subdivision. I know it's simply a call for a hearing.
Yes,
Is that the subdivision that has generated some petitions and some pushback from
that is correct.
residents?
That's correct.
So normally we're pretty limited when we're dealing with land use matters. Unlike other public meetings, it's not a free-for-all because
Correct.
that happened during the planning commission meeting.
Yep, it was a planning commission recommendation bringing forward.
Right. So we probably need to have advisory from Doug or somebody from legal, just to kind of set the rules in case there's
Sure.
pushback. There might be, just because it's on the agenda. I would expect it to be when we have public meeting or final approval. It's not,
It'll be a public meeting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean the public can comment.
Correct.
That's
It's
the
parties
challenge.
of record at that time. Yep.
So that's one of those little hiccups. It's state law says, you have your opportunity at another place.
Yeah, it's a quasi judicial matter. So that's why we use parties of record. So everybody who was a party of record who responded in person or in writing becomes a party of record for the
And
hearing.
they can talk with us.
And they can talk, yes.
So we'll need, I think we'll
You'll have the
probably need
list.
a list.
Correct.
so,
You will have the list ahead of time.
Yeah.
List board. And then Kelly, I don't know if Mike Wilson's on online. If he is, we can move him over. He's not up here, but I wanted him to just give the board an update. Is he on there?
I don't see him. No.
Okay, so he was gonna come up and talk to you guys. We're going to we've been looking at doing virtual inspections for a few of our inspections and making it easier for the homeowner and or contractor to, one, get an inspection, but more availability. Excuse me. Basically, they're out on the job site with the at the location or they need the inspection. They FaceTime our staff in-house and they show what they're doing, and our inspectors internally can tell them to, move the phone, do this, do that, show us this side, that side. And they can get the approval, then virtual inspections. Clark County has been doing it for quite some time, several years, in fact, and we want to follow that lead. It will really help us in the remote areas as long as they have Wi-Fi or self-service. We should be able to get these inspections done. It will save some of our inspectors time out in the field, as well as just more efficiencies. And then they can have them any time of day.
Wait a minute, we've just gotten word that there's no audio.
Can you hear me now?
The
I feel like
audio-
I'm
The
echoing
audio
in
is
here.
working in this room, but not on Zoom.
I can hear you guys perfect.
Huh. Okay. All
Anyway,
right.
so
Okay, go ahead.
no, can they hear us now?
Thank you.
Can't hear.
Thank you
Oh.
for the comments, folks.
Anyways, we're looking at going forward with that. We're going to talk with our building and planning advisory committee and taking their recommendations. We want to test it out, but we were just going to let the board know we're moving in that forward in that direction for more availability. So we'll see what this next couple weeks entail. We're hoping to roll it out hopefully in the first week of April. So
Yeah,
We've
we're
got-
getting close to the uptick in construction time.
yes, well, and making it more easily for them to get their inspections
Yeah.
done.
Well, if Clark's been doing it for years, it should be, they can do it.
And we have the
certainly can.
technology, so we might as well utilize it.
Yeah.
And we have staff to do that, so it makes sense.
I just,
So
good.
yeah,
I'd
I may
go.
have interrupted your
Oh, go
your
ahead.
report.
No, that was it. And then Mike was gonna give an update there. He's getting the letters ready. Mike Wilson, we are giving final occupancy or temporary final occupancy to the first phase, like the building 1 of the apartments out in Lexington. I think it's called River Terrace, I think is the last name I've heard. The big monstrous apartments out in Lexington. The first building is going to be ready for occupancy. So the fire department and
Realtors probably might have a concern that you called it monstrous.
there are several buildings out there.
They're pretty, it's pretty big. Gigantic is fair.
It's quite large
upscale
out
from
there.
what we're used to. You drive by it every day though.
Yeah,
Yeah. So our first building will be ready for occupancy, hopefully today or tomorrow. So they'll have temporary occupancy ready to go, which is exciting. They're ready to rent them out. So, and then they'll work towards getting the rest of the buildings up and going. That's what I have. I think I've hit everything. Oh, and thanks. Building and Planning Advisory group is meeting is Thursday. Are you available, Rick?
what time?
At 2 in our general meeting room. Love to have you there. They've asked several times for commissioner presence, so
I'll be there.
fantastic. Thank you. It's a good group.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. All right, so
Oh,
we'll,
Tracy, before you go, I did have one other question, sorry. Several months ago, we authorized the hiring of a nuisance abatement officer. And I'm wondering if we could probably schedule sort of an update on how things are going with that.
Yep, we're looking at that next week. We were going to wait for all 3 board members to be here,
yeah,
so
no,
that's
that's
what we
fair,
were
yeah.
looking for. Yep,
Yeah, okay.
So
thank you.
we have a person in place.
Oh, yes.
They've been
Yeah,
working.
Travis was here, and he's,
Was it September? Did we hire him about September or
I
so?
think it was in December because I was sitting out in the audience before the appointment had been officially made. So Yeah, I think it was 1st of December-ish, and he came and did the workshop with you guys. So, yep,
So-
he's looking
so-
forward to it. It just, we were
So
waiting. for
first quarter
commission-
report would.
Yep,
is
and
convenient.
he's
to-
looking forward to
Good.
giving it. We wanted to make sure all 3 commissioners were
Great.
here. Thanks.
Perfect.
Thanks for asking.
Facilities maintenance issues, challenges and completions.
We'll say updates, right? No issues. All right, so we have a couple items on here on our first 2 bullet points. We've got rental chiller, final billing correction, and then a valve replacement correction. We have some billing items to go over still internally with the auditor's office. We just wanted to give you guys updates that those might be coming in front of you again. So just really just an update that those are probably going to be discussed in the future, in the near future, like next week.
Okay.
And then we have an update on the sheriff's office project. Will, do you want to talk about that at all? So it's the PAC Tech final billing that should be coming through on the agenda as well next week.
Good morning, Commissioners. Will Tosted, Facilities Manager. So there is one change order as part of the Sheriff's Office transaction window. It's data pulls, some electrical to run the copy machines, the fingerprint scanner. So that'll be about $7,100 change order for added electrical to make that space operational. And that's all I have.
So I'm just trying to remember, the original cost was something about 27.
No, I think it was closer to 50. 49,000 was the original contract, plus, yeah.
Okay, and the need for the cables was overlooked. It's
Yeah, there just wasn't enough electrical for the sheriffs to
oh,
meet
they
their
have to
needs.
bring in a whole new. Oh, okay, new.
Yep,
New
correct.
service capacity. Okay,
Yep,
and those are
making,
the 3 windows in that back corridor, in that side corridor.
correct.
Okay.
I couldn't see, was there a question?
It's not a question.
Okay.
All right.
There was one other thing I was going to bring up that's not on our item agenda. Just in reviewing the agenda for tomorrow, there was there is a contract on there, and it is for clarification on sales tax. And I thought this was the agenda, but it's not, so I apologize. And I didn't bring it with me. Anyways, there's some language on there that has an amount and then it has an increase listed. And that is just a sales tax increase. So just to clarify, it's a little ambiguous. We want to make sure that we made you aware beforehand that it was just an increase in sales tax.
Which one was that again?
Thank you, Sean. Um, The first one. Okay, it's item number 8 on agreements, contracts, bid awards. It's change order number 1, and this is the one that Will just was discussing. The amount that was put in that last sentence, it says the increase is 6,630 to 7,167. All that is a change of sales tax.
That's-
Yeah, so again, apologize for that. That was just a language clarification.
All right. Thank you.
And then we have some public works items. We're going to have Sean Rowe, Finance Manager, come and discuss a couple contracts.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
So first up, we have a contract extension that'll be coming from Maul Foster Alongi. They were the ones that have been working on our solid waste management plan for the last few years. We have rolled into 2023 on that contract, so we're going to be extending it through the end of this year, just due to some delays working with the cities on that. We expect to be able to bring that to the board next week for first review with y'all.
Do we have a committee working with them? Don't we have a solid waste advisory committee?
Yes, so it went through the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, the SWAC. They made their comments. It went to the cities for their resolutions of adoptions. We received the final one in January. We compiled all the comments and any changes that were made by the cities into one document, and that's what will be presented to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
And then on the agenda for tomorrow, we have an item number 3, which we're rejecting all bids and going back out. We only received one bid and it was extremely high to previous values we received. So we're going to go back out and see if we can get a better value for the county. Number 3.
On something like that, do you have to redo the bids? Do you review the bids and change the specs or something, or?
So for this one, we just rejected all bids and we're reissuing as it was previously, and expecting more bids to come back in. So for some history on that, the one bid we did receive was about $160,000. Historically, we've been seeing that between 100 to 110. So for that kind of price increase, it really made sense for us to try one more time before going there.
They didn't suggest supply chain issues as a cause for the price increase. Sorry.
Yeah, we just had the one bidder on that one.
All right.
Good morning, Susan Eugenius, County Engineer, and I have the fun and exciting items in front of you this week. So we have a contract amendment with Herrera Environmental Consulting. We use them up at the landfill. We're adding $150,000 to their contract to bring it to a total, now I've forgotten the total. I believe it's 400,000. Yes, bringing it up to $400,000. Last year was their first year on contract with them. We spent about $200,000. So we're anticipating having a comparable amount this year. This engineering firm helps us with the day-to-day operations up on the landfill, such as salt waste acceptance and leachate issues. So they've been working with us on those issues.
On something like that, what's the tipping point? Tipping isn't the right word to use for the solid waste thing. Tipping point for bringing them in-house instead of contracting out.
So it depends on what they're dealing with is very specialized. And so we actually have different people within their firm working on these items. So the leachate is an current ongoing issue. And once we solve it, what we're spending on them will go down quite dramatically. Leachate treatment is very similar to water and wastewater treatment and those designs. And that is not something we have capability in-house, because we only do it every 5 or 10 years where we're upgrading a plant. So that's why we go out and hire consultants. I have enough information to be dangerous, so I can review what they're sending me, but I wouldn't go out and design it myself. So we have not reached a point where we have enough work to keep someone busy full time.
Okay, thank you.
So the next item I'm bringing, Savannah will hand around some fun pictures for you to look at. So the next item is we are updating load rating on several of our bridges throughout the county. We were required to review our road ratings for added vehicles. We did a whole series about 2 years ago for various bridges, and this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bridges that came out of this latest rating. So if you look at them, they're for single unit vehicles with 7 axles and single unit vehicles with 6 axles, and then some emergency vehicles, both 3 and 2 axles. These are on Abernathy Creek Bridge number 2, Harmony Drive Bridge number 1, Holcomb Road, Ostrander Bridge number 1, which is different than the triple box that we are replacing, and then out on Slide Creek Road, Bridge number 1. So those pictures show the different classes of vehicles that are what's being restricted, and they're not a no, they have a certain ton weight limit, which is less than what they're standard weight is. One of the quirks in the resolution is that we set these for a 10-year time limit because in theory, we should either reevaluate or have replaced a bridge with weight restrictions after 10 years. So you will see, let's see, we were here 2 years ago. So in about 7 to 8 years, we will probably come back with some of those bridges we put the restrictions on because I will not have all those bridges replaced.
Great. Questions for staff?
So the restrictions go on. Do we have traffic on there now that has to reroute
Not that I know of.
that we're aware of?
Not that I'm aware of, but this is information that gets
Yeah.
posted and we have one of our good uses of GIS that we have set up. Our whole road system is now available on the map and we have all the bridges located. They have that sheet which shows the pictures and anything with load rating pops up with a link. Fill out this oversized load. They send it in
Gotcha.
to us and we get the permits going. We have a pretty good turnaround.
These are probably, you don't think they affect emergency vehicles and those type of things?
Not that I've heard
Yeah,
that
okay.
we have those.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for staff? I thought it would be appropriate, though, to let Commissioner Dahl know that we signed a letter on Friday to our senators and our congresswomen requesting assistance for 3 projects that are in your district that we've talked about before: Tower Road culvert replacement and Riderwood water
Riderwood.
system upgrade. And then the last one was ADA compliant equipment and playground facilities at Riverside Park. So I think that was the last step on our part for making the official requests or senators and representative.
Yes, that should be in our last part. I've been working with our lobbyist and he was getting those. One was due date was Friday and the other was Sunday. So they should all be turned in.
I had coffee with him last week maybe, or a week before. Time goes by, so I knew
is true.
we were working on those.
I did.
He also
did
works
have-
on the Mount St. Helens, it's
Yes.
settlement
Yes,
issues.
that's
yeah.
right. That's an ongoing. I did have Kelly run 3 letters, one for each senator and congressman, rather than bundling them together. They're not the same entity. They're all very independent. So I have to recognize that. So it was 3 for the price of 1.
And I appreciate it.
Anything else? All right, great. Is there anything from our audience or public comment? We had one chat. The gentleman who's having trouble getting the Zoom sound is still having, but everybody else says they hear it fine, so I'm sorry about that problem. And there was a request about where did the other meeting members go? And I responded that they're not part of the Public Service Department. They left. They were at the earlier meeting. All right. Any other questions or comments? No hands up? All right, we can adjourn this meeting. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.